Morning, friends. How are you guys doing today? Today I'm here with Empties. So this is Scentsy, vendor wax, and I have a candle to share with you. So don't have much chit chat this morning. Let's jump right in. As always, there will be timestamps down in the description box so you can jump around if you so wish. I'm going to start with the candle that I have. I finished from Kringle, the Dungeon candle. So this candle in particular, I have a couple of them. This one was gifted to me from Natalie because she did not care for it. She said that this one smelled like the dirty boardwalk bathroom. I disagree. What's funny about that is now that I've been to see Natalie, I saw the bathroom that she was talking about. So every time I burn this candle now, I'm going to think about that dang bathroom on the Jersey Shore boardwalk. But in any case, she gifted this to me because she didn't care for the scent. I really like this fragrance, and I have a couple of candles. These are old though. These are probably 2 years old. So I wanted to make sure I could get through one. Super clean burn. The burn on this was amazing. This might be the first Kringle candle that I have ever finished. This was so clean the whole way down. It had a great pool, an even pool, and it smelled strong from the day that I lit it to the day that it went out. It never got that kind of kerosene smell. Sometimes I get that with Bath & Body Works candles that you get halfway through and you're like, okay, they got to go to the candle crock. This burned so clean the entire way, and I love that. What it's supposed to smell like, but to me this smells like dirt, like petrichor, earth, a dirt type fragrance. I'm surprised that Natalie didn't like the scent, although back in the day, I don't think she was into the dirt, earthy scents as much as she is now. So I would be curious to see her thoughts on this, because I guarantee she would like this scent now. I guarantee it. It is a dirt petrichor fragrance, but for the Halloween season, this is when I burn this, mainly in October. It just, look at the label on it. Perfect for Halloween. So glad to have finished it, because I do have a couple more that I will burn in future Halloweens, but a great performing candle. I have one thing from Bath & Body Works, and that is just that I changed out the wallflower in the office. I had in there pumpkin pecan waffles. That was amazing. That was so strong and so good. And I changed it out to coffee and whiskey. Now, I really enjoy this fragrance, and I've had it in body care and various things, but in the wallflower, I'm really not smelling it at all. Lightly brewed coffee, hint of vanilla, and bold Irish whiskey. Just put it in a couple days ago, but I really can't smell it, so not the best wallflower ever. I have, I think, maybe 6 wallflowers left, and then I will be out of wallflowers. I'm thinking about transitioning away from them, and I say that because all I hear about is like the fire hazards that come with wallflowers. Have you guys ever had any experiences with them? And what do you use in replace of wallflowers? I only have a wallflower in my office. That's the only location, because that's the only location that doesn't really have outlets next to tables and things like that. And so I don't have a warmer in there. So I use a wallflower to get fragrance in that space. And my office is like part of the open concept, so it does get fairly scented from what's in the kitchen and what's in the living room, but I don't have anything particular in the office. Natalie, if you are watching, what are those plugins that you show in your empty sometimes that you really like? You get them in like a 3 or 6 pack and you say they go the whole time. What are those? Because maybe I need to look into doing that in my office instead of a wallflower. Just thoughts. I don't know what I'm going to do, but let me know any experiences you've had, if you're ever concerned about fire hazards, and if you have any kind of wallflower alternatives. But that is it for kind of miscellaneous things. And now we can get into Scentsy. So I finished a counter clean in Johnny Appleseed. Really enjoyed this fragrance for the fall. Great classic apple scent. I will say this particular bottle, the sprayer really stopped working when I had about a quarter or so of this left. I had to really force to get the rest of the counter clean out, and eventually got to the point where I was just unscrewing the cap, kind of pouring a little bit out and then using it that way. I've never had that experience with any other bottle of counter clean I've had, so it could have just been a dud, but overall really enjoyed that. Couple of bars that I finished. First up is Frosted Fantasy. And I apologize, I do not have the notes for this one, but this is part of the holiday collection, I believe. I did a whole review of that collection. I will link that above, or like first sniff impression of that collection. And I really enjoyed the vast majority of that collection and really liked this bar. So I melted this bar in this waxer and put the whole bar in here. This is such a nice, kind of fresh, aquatic tree. I get a lot of kind of fresh air notes to it. Beautiful for the bedrooms and bathrooms. Just like a crisp tree. I do get some kind of clean air, ozonic notes. Very, very pretty. And actually I purchased another one of these. You'll see that haul coming up soon, but I have a Scentsy haul where I did a one and done club, and I got a lot of the new bars that I hadn't picked up yet. So like bars from the like little gingerbread chalet collection, the bricks, things like that. And while I made that order, I placed a couple of bars from the holiday collection in there that I knew I wanted a second bar of, and this was one of them. Really pretty fragrance. Berry Apple Shortbread. I think this is from the Harvest collection. I could be wrong. I haven't been on my game as much as following Scentsy the last few months, and then I feel like this time of year with the LTOs, it's just a lot to keep up with. But I think this was the Harvest collection. I know Natalie really enjoys this bar, and she's gonna hate that I'm saying this, but I hated this bar. I had high expectations for it. Put this in my open concept one day. There's something off about this bar. It has like a powdery note. Something is very off-putting in this to me. Great performer, probably because I didn't really care for it, but there's a note in this bar that just does not work for me. Like it's almost sour in a way. I don't know how to describe it. I wish the fruit was a little tartar and sweeter. This really kind of gives me a sour note and like a raw dough type of note. I don't know, instead of like a baked shortbread. Did not care for it. Glad I only had the one. Sorry, Nat. I know she really likes this one. But yeah, Berry Apple Shortbread was not for me. And then this is not an empty, but I wanted to share it because I worked on a brick, and you know, I'm obviously not going to go through the whole brick at one time, so I wanted to share just that I worked on it. Maraschino sugar cookie. Melted 2 of the cubes of this. I have 2 bricks of this. Luckily Summer so kindly gifted me one, and then I got one in a flash sale. I love this fragrance. This is so good, and I never would have picked this up. I'm not a cherry person at all. It really comes off medicinal to me a lot. It comes off very cough syrup, but I've heard so many people talk about this scent over the years. Natalie loves this scent. So when it came up in that flash sale that one time, you know, I knew that if Natalie loved it that much, I should try it. And then if I didn't like it, I could just send it to her. Well, I'm glad that I picked up the brick because I really enjoy this fragrance. It is such a cozy, sweet cherry. You really get some of the bakery notes. There's nothing chapstick. There's nothing medicinal. No cough syrup notes to this at all. It is a beautiful cherry fragrance and a powerhouse. This was so strong. I probably could have got away with less cubes. I'll make sure I close this. It's not closing right. There we go. Like, I don't want that oil to leak out, especially with it being red. I probably could have gotten rid of I probably could have gotten by with either less cubes or spread the 2 cubes that I used out further, my open concept, but it was a powerhouse. So good. Really enjoy this, and I'm excited to melt more of this during the like holiday season and in winter. But that's it for Scentsy. We can jump into vendor wax. For vendor wax, I have Rose Girl, Second and Spruce, Teddy Bees, Vintage Chic, Super Tarts, and Lavender and Speckles. I have a lot of Lavender and Speckles this week. So let's start with the vendors I only have one of. So this Empties covers the last couple days of October and like the first week of November. I pre-film a lot of my videos, and so when it's time for me to film Empties, I try to like fit them into what videos I already have scheduled, but sometimes then it's like a week or 2 later. I don't know if it really matters, but I'm trying to fit my Empties in as soon as possible. So, you know, I'm talking about some Halloween wax and we're already in the middle of November. But anyway, last couple days of October, first week or so of November. So from Vintage Chic, I used the Warrens. Pretty sure Natalie gifted this to me for my 30th birthday, so thank you, Natalie. This is glazed cinnamon donuts, a warm cup of mulled cider, topped with gooey marshmallows, caramel drizzle, and sweet cinnamon. This was great. I've struggled with Vintage Chic in my home throw-wise some, but the older her waxes I found, the better. So this was from July 2022, so over 2 years old by the time I melted it. Performed great. I really got kind of like a cider lane fall bakery type fragrance. I don't purchase from Vintage Chic, but I enjoyed that a lot. From Second and Spruce, I melted Pumpkin Pie Sundae. This I just received from her fall sampler. This is pumpkin pie ice cream, rich pie crust, cinnamon sugar drizzle, and whipped cream. So this you can kind of see a little bit, but it had 4 cubes in this bag. It was a shape bag. And I put 2 cubes in my kitchen and then 2 cubes in my living room. It was a beautiful fragrance. You definitely got the ice cream, you got the pumpkin. It was a very creamy pumpkin scent, not too heavy with the spices. It was only about a medium performer though, which is surprising. I have had amazing performance with Second and Spruce, and I could still smell this, but I wish that I would have put maybe more in the kitchen or like kind of target it a little bit more instead of spreading it out so much. So I could have increased that throw just a little bit, but still a good medium performer, a really pretty scent. And I'm not a pumpkin fan, so me saying how much I enjoyed a pumpkin scent is sometimes rare, but I really did like that one. From Rose Girls, I finished one of my favorites. I love this one. I don't have any more of it, but eventually when I kind of get my stash down here a little bit, I'm not purchasing from Rose Girls right now. I'm trying to finish the stash that I have, but this is one that is high on the list when I go to repurchase from her, and that is Horror Flicks and Chill. It's so funny because I love this one so much, but this is one that Kim from Kim Hearts Organizing, she hated this one and had to take it out of her warmers. I love this. This is a very strong performer. It went for 2 days. This is Ozone Fruit, Floral, Woods, and Musk. I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, you get the musk and you get the fruit. It is a beautiful bedroom, bathroom type fragrance. Slightly perfumey from the musk without being like too perfumey. The fruit gives it a nice fragrance. You get some of the woods. It's a very interesting combination. And if you like earthy, atmospheric, ozonic type of fragrances, I think you would really enjoy Horror Flicks and Chill. And like I said, it's a great performer. Love this one so very much. I would love to have more of that. From Super Tarts, I finished off a couple. I'll do these at the same time because I melted them together in my open concept. Did a little bit of mint this past week or so. I just kind of needed a break from like the fall spices, so I diverted for a day and did kind of some different fragrances. So the one day in my open concept from Super Tarts, I did a brick and twisted peppermint, and this had just like a couple of pieces of buttercream mint ice cream. So this wasn't enough to do the whole space, so I added some of the twisted peppermint in. Great combination. This twisted peppermint was gifted to me from Summer, so thank you so very much, Summer. Smelled just like twisted peppermint from Bath & Body Works, so very creamy, vanilla heavy peppermint. Loved that so much. Definitely would get that again. And then the buttercream mint ice cream has notes of buttercream, fresh mint, and sweet cream. A good buttermint scent. I enjoyed this. Doesn't stand out to me more than Mint to Be Merry by Scentsy, though. That's my favorite buttermint type scent, at least at the moment. So it was enjoyable, but nothing that I really feel strongly about getting again. Lastly, from Super Tarts, one of my favorites. This is Yes We Crayon. This used to be called Saw, if you are an OGer that, you know, is familiar with the old names. This is cranberry pie crust and vanilla cream. This has been a repurchase of mine for years. I really only melt it during November. It's a very Thanksgiving scent for me. Cranberry in general, I really only melt kind of November, maybe December, but it's very much a Thanksgiving feel for me. Love this scent though. The cranberry is not tart. It is very, very sweet. I do get hints of the pie crust, and she has a really great pie crust. Love her pie crust. I think it's so good. And then the vanilla cream. Do I pick up vanilla per se? No, but I'm sure it just kind of blends everything together. The cranberry, I think, is what really makes this blend. It is not a tart cranberry. It's just a very sweet, fruity cranberry. Great performer. If you like cranberry type fragrances, I would highly recommend that one. Lavender and Speckles, I have quite a bit. Maybe I should organize a little bit here, because they kind of, some of them go together a little bit. Okay, couple from the Barbershop sampler. So the Barbershop sampler was a sampler that I was so lucky to work on with Beth back in May for the Wax Roadshow, and she's been offering some of the blends and her pre-orders individually. So I hope that you guys are enjoying the blends, but I melted just her plain Barbershop. This was the sample, like extra, that was given in the Barbershop sampler for you to be able to kind of see what does this note smell like just on its own. I mean, it's amazing. Put this in my bathroom warmer, so strong. This is in her olive oil formula, and you guys know it's a powerhouse. It is so good. I mean, her Barbershop is such a masculine, beautiful cologne scent. I would consider it shaving cream, but honestly, it is the highest end shaving cream. It is not your typical shaving cream, I guess is what I should say. It doesn't smell like shaving cream from other vendors. This is a very high-end masculine cologne fragrance. Love her Barbershop more than anybody else's. It's so good. And then I did one of the blends from that sampler. This is Barbershop Sugar Cookie and Espresso. So I melted this in this wax room here actually this past Sunday, and you guys, this was so strong. I should have put this in my kitchen area, but the Barbershop and the Sugar Cookie were really coming out, and I could smell the coffee, but the coffee wasn't taking over the blend, which is really great. I'm so glad I was able to pick up those other notes. Coffee sometimes can really just drown out other oils to me. So I was super excited that I could smell kind of all parts of this, but this blew me out of this room. It was coming down the hallway into the living room, and I was sitting in the living room and had wax going, and I couldn't smell that wax because I could smell this wax wafting down the hallway. So testament to how strong this fragrance was. I think if you like coffee, if you like masculine cologne fragrances, This is so good. It's like a man on a Sunday morning. A clean man, fresh out of the shower with a cup of coffee in his hand. What's not to love about that? So really enjoyed that. While we're talking about samplers, let's talk about the bourbon sampler. So I, again, was so lucky to be able to work with Beth on the French bourbon sampler for the October pre-order, and I melted the sample of just French bourbon. This is vanilla bourbon, bergamot, heliotrope, leather, amber, and oak. This is one of the prettiest oils I've ever smelled, and I've been obsessed with her French bourbon since we got the bourbon pine cone, which is now Sweet Home Alabama, but back then it was bourbon pine cones. In the pine cone sampler, she gave like an extra, like a piece like this as an extra, and I immediately messaged her like, what is this magic? This is unbelievable. And the French bourbon sampler was born because I love this fragrance so much. There's a scent in the barbershop sampler where it's barbershop and French bourbon, because I'm like, those are the best two oils I've ever smelled, and let's put them together. So really, really enjoyed this. If you like, again, kind of masculine cologne, woodsy, earthy scents, that would be a great one. And then I melted from the bourbon sampler, bourbon, apples, peaches, and butterscotch. So I told Beth this the other day, like, this is one that when we decided on this blend, I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but probably not one of my like top picks of the sampler. I totally disagree with myself because this is stunning. This is so good. This is the perfect fall version of this scent. You're getting the apple, you're getting the peach, but it's not fresh. It is kind of apple pie, like caramelized peach with some cinnamon on there. It is so good. And it is not butterscotch, like butterscotch candy, super sickeningly sweet. This kind of reminds me of going into like a Michael's or like an old country store, that type of fragrance where it's just homey. You get some of the baked goods. It's cozy. Loved that one so much, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Okay, I gotta take a coffee break. All right. Today is election day, so I'm trying to, and it's pouring down rain, of course. So I'm gonna finish this and then go stand in line, probably in the rain, to go vote for, hopefully not super long. Hopefully the line is not crazy long. Okay, and then I've got 3 from the Palo Santo sampler. I think this might be the donut shop sampler. It's hard to say. This one might be from the pine cone sampler, actually, but they all have Palo in the notes, so I'm gonna say Palo. So this is Donut Shop, Palo, and Sweet Woods. This was very sweetly gifted to me by Melissa Ferguson here. So thank you so much, Melissa. I loved this, and I was kind of surprised I loved it so much because I'm not a huge Donut Shop Palo person. I know summer don't come for me, but it leans a little bit too spicy for me. The combination of the Sweet Woods with this, yes. This is cinnamon sugar donuts, Palo Santo, fireside marshmallow, and icy vanilla woods. I think I just know that anything with icy vanilla woods is going to be a winner for me, because you get the icy vanilla woods, but you still get that kind of cinnamon sugar donut very strongly in this fragrance. This was so good. I would definitely get this again. Actually, I should keep this out and put it to the side. Anytime there's a lavender and speckle scent that just really speaks to me, I write it down on my customs list. That way, when she opens for customs, I know the scents that I absolutely love that I just want to get more of. So actually, I'm going to set that to the side and write that down in my notes app. Then I melted Palo Peppermint Pine Cones. So Palo Santo Peppermint and Roasted Pine Cones. Yeah, this must be from the Pine Cone sampler because it's got the pine cone picture in the back. This was good. Not a Not a favorite, nothing I think I need to get more of, but what I did like about this one a lot, I mean, I love all three of these scent notes, but I liked that not one took over. I really could smell each of the notes individually, the apollo, the peppermint, and the pine cones. So great combination, not one that I feel like super stood out, but I enjoyed that a lot. And then smoked apples and Palo Santo. So this is Macintosh apple, Palo Santo, smoked cedar, and marshmallow fireside. Melted this in my bedroom. Really good, like apple wood type scent. You know, you get the apple fragrance in here, but it was mixed with so many woodsy notes that it really comes off more of like an apple wood. You got the smoke. You definitely have to like apple, at least to an extent, but it doesn't scream apple maybe like you would expect it to. Really pretty. Enjoyed that one. Then I finished a bag of Friday dinner. I don't know if this is renamed or not. This was from the Gilmore Girls collection. And I know she's kind of renamed some of these blends. This is sweet cranberry marmalade blended with honey cornbread and topped off with French bourbon. I already talked about the French bourbon. This was amazing. I actually melted this yesterday in my open concept. I loved that you got the cranberry, you got the bourbon, and you got the cornbread. It is such a good combination. Perfect Thanksgiving type of fragrance. You get the sweetness of the cranberry, but you get kind of the masculine, deeper notes from the bourbon. This is blended beautifully. Definitely one I would like to get again, and a great performer. So I put this in at like 4 p.m. yesterday, and it's like 5-ish a.m. right now, and I could still smell it when I came out this morning. So really enjoyed that. And then lastly, from Lavender and Speckles, another one I need to set to the side to write down that I have to get more pronto. This is Cookie Cat. So this was a couple of pieces. I had 2 pieces. Summer sent this to me to try, and I remember smelling it and I liked it, but I put it away, kind of forgot I even had it. Well, I melted this yesterday in this room, took the 2 bunts and put it in 2 of the warmers in this room. And when I came back in a little bit later, I was like, what did I put in my warmers again? This was exceptional. And I kept coming back throughout the night to come into this room to smell this wax because of how flippin' good this was. So this is Apollo Frosted Sugar Cookies, Fireside Marshmallows, Donut Shop, and Pie Crust. This was the most creamy bakery scent. You got a lot of that frosted sugar cookie fragrance. Very, very creamy, like vanilla buttercream, sugar cookie. You got some of the Apollo and some of the donuts. Hints of the Apollo, but just such a good creamy bakery kind of donut shop scent. Loved this. So again, I'm setting this one to the side to put on my notes app that I'm going to need more of that. And if it's offered before she does customs again, great. If not, I'll grab some more at customs the next time she does customs. So thank you, Summer, for that. And I'm going to keep saying thank you, Summer, because now we're going to move on to Teddy Bees. And the first 2 I have are samples that were sent to me by Summer. So we have Doe Amour. So this is creme brulee, vanilla cake pops, and vanilla cream. This was okay. It was kind of a basic vanilla bakery scent. Nothing that I felt super strongly about that I need to get again, but I enjoyed it and I'm glad to have melted it. This one, oh, this one's actually kind of a mix. Summer and Steph has sent to Gemini, both kind of sent me this. Summer physically sent it to me, but this was actually Steph's tub. Gave me a little sample of Daisy Dukes and Flip Flops. I really, really enjoyed this one. This is Sweet Red Mango, Warm Driftwood, Spa-like notes of sea salt and orchid. A great performer, really nice bedroom, bathroom type scent. You got the sweet mango, but you really, like the mango is the strongest note, but you really do get kind of like, it says those spa-like notes, like a very clean, fresh, aquatic fragrance. Really, really enjoyed this. This is a very soothing, kind of high-end smelling scent. A scent that I would use on my house when it was like freshly cleaned or something too. Really pretty. Very glad to have tried some of that and would definitely pick up more of this if it's ever offered. So thank you to Summer and Stephanie. Finished off 3 souffles and we will be done. First up is just a favorite of mine in Rain and Woods. Crunchy leaves, wet flowers, clove, balsam, patchouli, and sandalwood. I adore this scent. This is a very fresh, earthy fragrance. I think you have to like earthy category to appreciate this scent, but you really do get kind of that, the wet leaves, the patchouli. You probably can melt this in like springtime too, but I like this a lot in the fall. To me, this is a fresh fall sunny type day. The sun is shining, but maybe it had like a little bit of a rainstorm, so everything is wet outside. You've got the leaves, but they're not rotting yet. They're not like super crunchy. Maybe the leaves are just kind of starting to fall down. Such a beautiful fragrance. Love this one. Highly recommend. Pretty positive I have more of that one because I like it so much. At least I really hope so, because it is stunning. Pumpkin Woods. This is pumpkin spice, sandalwood, patchouli, tobacco, Palo Santo, and cold winter winds. What a unique fragrance. I've never had anything like this before. I really get like a clean note to this. There's something about this, and I don't know if it's the tobacco, the sandalwood. It pulls very fresh. There is a very clean leaning note in here to me, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it is stunning. You get hints of the patchouli, hints of the Palo Santo. I don't get a ton of pumpkin spice. I feel like I get a lot of the tobacco, the sandalwood. It is a really earthy fragrance. This was so strong. I put this souffle in my open concept, and this went all day and night, a good 24 hours before I changed it. Really enjoyed this. Is it one that I feel super strongly about getting again? No. I would maybe pick up another souffle of it if it was offered again. Not one that stands out as like a staple favorite, but did really enjoy that. And then lastly, I melted my souffle of sugared chestnuts and apple butter. I know this one is like a cult favorite for Teddy Bees. I think Christine from Christine's Scentsy really loves this one. Apple butter, brown sugar, toasted chestnuts, clove, and notes of spice. So this one I thought was just okay on warm. It's a very apple heavy bakery, or on cold, I'm sorry. But then you warm it and I feel like it really comes to life. You really get the warm chestnuts. It's almost like a warm apple pie, perfect for kind of the holiday season. A very cozy, homey bakery scent. I really enjoyed this one. I think this was offered, I have to go look. I think this was offered in this last pre-order. So I could be wrong, but I think it was. If not, maybe it was maybe it was like last pre-order. But if this was offered in this past pre-order, I will have to pick up a little bit more of it during the RTS. But definitely really, really enjoyed that. Okay, so that is it. I feel like I had a lot of stuff. Amazing how much I've been getting through lately. I don't know. I feel like I've had a lot of empties to share recently, but that's everything I have to share with you guys today for my home fragrance empties for the last week or so. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing everything that I used up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in my next one. Bye.